Hello everybody, welcome to another episode of Erickson TV. Curtis here with Lauren. Hello Lauren.
Hey Curtis, hey everybody.
So Lauren, in past years we've done a periodic episode about the cost and the value of a of a college education.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So I found an article recently that was surprising to me actually. There's been a lot of discussion, since the recovery from our previous recession about there hasn't been a huge job growth. There's been modest job growth, I guess. Yeah. The interesting thing was they did a study and they took a look at what they call a good new job.
Okay, yeah.
And the recovery. So during the recovery from 2010 to 2014, what they defined as a good new job would be a job that annually paid about $53,000 or greater.
Okay.
On that nationally,
okay.
And so in that time period, 2.9 million good jobs were created during this recovery.
Okay. The
interesting thing, which was surprising to me, is 2.8 million, or 97% of those jobs, have gone to workers with at least a bachelor's degree.
Right.
So it's interesting to me because there's been some talk about maybe college isn't worth it anymore.
Mm-hmm.
I think if you look back at some of our previous episodes, we discussed that it wasn't necessarily that it wasn't important to get a college degree, but you didn't necessarily have to go to the most prestigious, expensive private school. And in kind of good timing, here in Washington State, the legislator, which for the first time in the history I ever remember, have actually reduced the cost of tuition for the next 2 years in the state universities. So, what's your take on this?
Yeah, I think getting a college degree right now is, college degrees are required for a lot of things that, should I say this? Yes, I should say this. College degrees are required for a lot of things that don't require a college degree. And also a lot of people get college degrees and they just have that sort of piece of paper, and then what they actually do has nothing to do with what they got the college degree in, but they still need the piece of paper to prove that they got a college degree.
It's sort of like a screening mechanism.
Yeah, it is. It's become that. Yeah. And so I think that for most people, especially for most people who are not entrepreneurs, it's different, I suppose, if you're an entrepreneur. A lot of the stories that you hear about how, a college degree doesn't matter much anymore, what they're looking at is people who are entrepreneurs. Well, if you have that spirit, then maybe you don't need one as much. But there really aren't a lot of new jobs being created that are anything like anything like stable, high-paying jobs, except the jobs that tend to go to people with college degrees. But I think also there's a lot of research saying that if you're going to spend a lot of money going to a really expensive school, it's probably not worth it unless you can get into the techs, MIT, those kind of schools, or the really top Ivy League institutions. Outside of that, it's a lot of money, and it doesn't get you, usually, there's no evidence that it gets you any higher paying jobs or better job opportunities than simply going to your state school, which is lower cost because you pay in-state tuition, and in Washington State is lower cost just because they lowered the costs.
Right, and the final I think we can take away from that is that the trend line for people that go to the more expensive schools end up with more college debt, and it becomes like handcuffs. Even if you're making maybe a little bit more income, economically it may not put you better off because of that extra debt.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, well, thank you for watching this episode of Erickson TV, and we'll see you next time. Bye now.
See you next time.